Yeah, so last time, oh god, what all happened last time? So like Akechi did some shit. He said something like offensive to Emily, like kind of like pushing her away, and then Kobayashi was like, "What the fuck you? What the fuck are you talking about? Stop doing that, you asshole!" And then we like rescued the kid that wanted to be a Akechi's like a disciple from like getting beat up by a bunch of racists. Yeah, I remember that happened. Anyway, I'm excited for Kobayashi's fun time. He really makes this route very enjoyable for me. Yeah, let's go. It's so weird coming to this while having Evolution Worlds be the main game. I'm so used to having this be like the game that I play every day. So now that it's not, I'm like, God, what happened last time? Oh. That's a lot of things happening. Yeah. This game can be pretty crazy. Let me see, where were we at? Okay, it was this part. Oh yeah, and there's cult shit. Right. Oh right! I got kidnapped by a cult! Of course! How could I forget? Yeah, there was like a cult. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I remember where we're at. Yeah, just casually forgot that I got, kidnapped by a cult. Just normal Emily things, Yeah, so Emily, you had such a good run in this route. You weren't being a dumbass as much as you were in Watson's route. I believed in you. But there was like a cult, and people started suspecting that the family that brought in Akechi was connected to the cult because he like went to the church that is connected to cult activities where they kidnap people. And Emily saw their like caretaker while she was going to meet Akechi, and then instead of telling Akechi or telling anyone that she saw him, she like followed him out of suspicion, and then she got chloroformed by some cultist, and now I think she's watching the cultists like have children fight to kill each other for like some sacrifice. I think that was where we left off. Oh god, I just hit 3 headshots with a bow in Skyrim. I feel like I got dang. Triple kill. There's a chance Akechi could be made into a pawn in this scheme somehow. I need to let him know of all that's happening, but there seems to be no escape for me. I had done my best to suppress my gnawing sense of unease, but it crept to the surface once again, and for the next moment, I felt tears stream down my cold cheeks. Again, yeah, Emily, you gotta stop getting into these situations, girl! They said some manner of drug crystal, they called it, was being burnt here. It is supposed to heighten one's emotions, to weaken their sense of fear. When even the slightest pangs of loneliness or hopelessness settled upon me, I found myself crying. If ever there was a less convenient time to cry, I could scarcely name it. I wiped my tear-stained face with my arm, as though hoping to likewise banish my sorrows. Meanwhile, above ground, Akechi and Kobayashi stood in St. Spirit Church. Please don't get kidnapped, guys! I hope you brought weapons! Their gazes were fixed on a single man who stood motionless within the chapel. What do you make of him, Akechi? Oh, excuse me. His behavior is highly suspect. I doubt he is here to worship. Never moving from that spot, frequently scanning the room. Strange behavior for a parishioner, but perfectly in line with what one would expect of a sentry. What should we do? Wait a bit long? No, I'm done waiting. Wait, Akechi, wait! Kobayashi tried in vain to hold him back. What is this music? The man had taken notice of Akechi and began moving to intercept him, but with a few swift motions, Akechi had locked the man tightly in a restraining hold. You're those kids from Dehar's. How did you find out about this place? So, Dehar really is involved. No, I'd very much like to hear a concise summary of what is happening here. You seem able enough to furnish that information. That was not what he said. That is such a long piece of dialogue for such a short voice line. Hold on. Yeah. Akechi tightened his hold on the man. I came back and I thought Akechi cut the laws now. He would never. Sorry, I'm munching. Scars the waz. Resorting to violence would not be my preferred choice, however. If she had been caught up in this, I will do what I must. I cannot tell how much time had passed. The only certainty was the slowness of its passage. Scars the waz. But after once more wiping away the tears that fell, heedless of my own will. What? You den of cowards! How could you stoop so low as to use children as shields? They're using the kids as meat shields? Excuse me? Don't make me laugh. What need have I to deal fairly with Stop! Stop saying that! I'm not saying that word. I know that's a racial thing. Well, I can't believe you really went into the mirror room. You're either painfully brave or painfully stupid. Wait, I know that voice. No. I am not reading this. The voices had drawn quite close, and I peered out in time to see someone being kicked into the cell beside mine. And for a moment, I was stunned into silence at the familiar face that met my gaze. Kobayashi-kun! Hurrying to the bars separating our cells, I reached through and clasped his hands in mine. Emily, so you were captured after all. Are you all right? Have they done anything to you? I'm fine. But what about you? Oh, excuse me. Oh, this? It's nothing. Nothing at all. Ouch! Damn. First I wind up in some strange room with mirrors all over. When I decided to stand and fight, they paraded their captives before us. Kobayashi staggered as he attempted to stand once more, holding his chest with his free hand. By the way, does the sound good? I don't know if it's loud for you guys or not. Oh. The sound is fine to me? Okay, cool. Oh. We got punishment time. Give me 1 second. What was it? Forgot what the... There we go. I think it's this one. This always makes my model lag. There we go. Alright, chat. It's time for you to get beat up. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. Pew. Hup, pew. Hup, pew, pew, pew. Whatcha? Whoop, boo. Hitcha. What ta 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 ta. They should have done this game like Tekken and had everyone speak their languages, but somehow everyone understands each other. That would be very funny. I just punish chat because it's funny. Everyone else is like speaking in English, and then Kobayashi and Akechi are speaking in Japanese. Don't, you shouldn't move. I punish chat because it's funny. What's this, little mousey? Not a peep out of you no matter how many times I try to make conversation, but as soon as your little friend shows up, you suddenly all talk. Emily? Hey, you! Suddenly, the guard grabbed me from behind, pinning me against his chest with all his strength. The aroma of crystal hung thick in the air. My head felt as though it was going to burst. God, the villains are cartoonishly evil. Let go of me! If you've got that much energy, help them. No! Shut up! I hate this otome trope! If you got that much energy, how about you and I have a little fun, shall we? I'll show you a real good time. Can an otome game stop having the girls get in trouble and have a character threaten to rape them? I'm just asking for like one simple little thing, otome games, please. Please stop implying this whenever a character is in trouble. Aroma of crystal? Yeah, they got like this drug that like... It sounded kind of like it makes you distort. Like it makes your brain go crazy. The guard thrust his face up against mine and I felt the blood turn to ice in my veins. Wish granted, the genders are swapped. No! Stop. I hate this! Come again? I couldn't hear you. Say it again. Scream it to me. Kill him! Kill him, Akechi! Murder this man! Hard of hearing. Then allow me to convey her intentions clearly. Regardless, fuck them. What? In the darkness of the cavern, I heard a familiar voice. The guard's arms loosened their grip and fell away entirely as the man crumpled to the ground. Get away from her at once. Kill! Stab him! Revolting trope. I hate this fucking trope, man. I'm so tired of otome games doing this. You can have a damsel in distress without that. God. Soured me a bit, yeah. I knew that silver-framed face all too well. His eyes were narrowed, his form poised. My relief at seeing him there overwhelmed me.
Miss Whiteley.
I feared for a moment I might stop breathing entirely. Akechi staggered towards me, as though momentarily taking leave of his balance, but wrapped his arms around me, catching himself. It was all so sudden that I was fixed to the spot.
Sumimasen. あなたの顔を見たら安心してしまって。
God. I'm so sorry, Emily. Just seeing you unharmed, I felt such a weight lifted from me.
あなたが無事でよかったです。
I'm so glad you're all right. He seems to be in pain, and the smell. Akechi's breathing came ragged and uneven, and the scent of crystal clinging above him was stronger still, that of the guard he had struck down with the back of his blade. Seeing him in such obvious agony drained the color from my face. Akechi? What happened?
見張りを10人ほど倒した後、変な魔法陣の部屋で子供を止めようとして。
After defeating perhaps 10 guards, I tried to stop the children. A room with some manner of occultist circle. The children! Memories of that lurid sight I had witnessed just before my capture came flooding back.
止めた直後に彼にデハルに何か薬のようなものを刀で直撃は防いだのですが。
Yeah, Akechi's route was doing so good. Why? Yeah, what the fuck? You just gotta make the route turn bad by putting that in it, huh? After I stopped them, Dehar, with some kind of drug, blocked the impact with sword. But like they already established that they like kidnap the children and make them do like satanic rituals, like stabbing people for like their ritual. Why couldn't they have just done that? Like, I would rather prefer that than that implication. Using sexual assault as a method to make the boy seem more heroic, I'm tired, man. Yeah, God. You can put a character in danger without using that.
ないですね。こんな姿、あなたにだけは見られたくなかった。
Kechi, what the fuck? You're the last person I wanted to see me like this. A disgraceful mess.
結局、僕なんて情けないやつのままなのかもしれません。
In the end, I am still the pitiful excuse for a man I have ever been. Though I couldn't see his expression, the trembling in his voice sounded as though he was in great pain. Anguish, both physical and mental. It's just as fine if the boy saves you from getting hit by a truck, but with way less ick, I'm going to scream.
情けなくなんか
You are no such thing, Akechi. Akechi, perhaps in a lurid moment of awareness, released his hold on me, but overcome by our reunion, I clung to him, keeping him near. You're not pitiful at all. I've never heard a more preposterous statement.
ミスお一人
Besides, you yourself have said that it isn't right to make light of oneself. Otome games should have the guy save you from an aggressive truck. I agree. I think they should do that. Too choked up to continue, I simply clung to him in silence. Akechi was a man ever ready to run to the aid of someone in need, heedless of the danger to himself, and right now was no exception. I can never regard someone so full of kindness as pitiful. And I wished I could convey those very thoughts to him, but the words caught in my throat, and only tears poured forth once more. The sight of his face is as much of relief to me as mine must have been to him. If your boy doesn't suplex a truck to save you, is he even the one? For real? Just have Akechi keep saving her from carriages about to run her over. Not yet wanting to separate myself from that moment of relief, I tightened my arms around his chest. I'm gonna truck you over, little lady. None shall touch you, my delicate flower, milady. Parries a truck. Following our reunion, we availed ourselves of the keys the unconscious guard had in his possession, and freed from our cells, we tended to Akechi as he rested in an area well hidden from view. Are you thirsty?
ありがとうございます。だいぶ落ち着きましたから。
I'm fine, thank you. I feel much better now.
明智がこんなになるなんて。
It must have been some drug to take such a toll on you. Quaffing the water I had with me seems to have done much to aid in Akechi's... How do you have water on you? Kikiki, you're quite energetic. Why don't we have a little fun? Pulls out a Monopoly game set. Please!
ここにいる間に見張りが話していた情報を聞いておいたの。
I overheard something from the guards here before the two of you arrived.
彼らはもう間もなくここの子供たちを組織の兵士として香港へ運び出すと言っていたわ。
They were discussing how soon all the children here were to be taken to Hong Kong to serve as soldiers for their organization. Actually, you know what? They should go back to mustache twirling villains that tie ladies to railroad tracks. I agree. I would rather that than this fucking trope. And that this whole underground warren was to be set ablaze to dispose of any evidence as well. Need energy to play Monopoly. That game can take days to finish.
子供たちを助けるためにも今はここから出てスコットランドヤードに伝えなきゃ。
So, for the children's sake, in addition to our own, we need to escape and let Scotland Yard know what's going on.
小林、今の僕はまだ機敏性に欠けます。
What is adroit? I've never heard of that word. Kobayashi, I'm afraid I still lack in my adroitness. If I might ask you, what is adroit? Google. What is adroit? Clever or skillful in using the hands or mind? Oh, okay.
分かったよ。俺が先導する。お前はしっかりレディーに面倒見られてろ。
Say no more. I'll lead the way. Emily will be there to care for you every step of the way.
面倒を見られてろなんて。
Care for me?
レディー、明智のこと頼むよ。
You heard me, Emily. He's in your hands now. Alright.
分かったわ。
ミス・ホワイトリー、
明智さん。
あなたには後で聞いてもらわなければならないことがあるんです。だから
Sorry. I have something I need to say to you later, so.
おい、明智、そういう
Oh my god!
俺と結婚してってセリフはやめろ。
Kobayashi's my guy! He always says I was literally about to be like, that's a fucking red flag, bro. Don't say that. Hey, Akechi! Don't go giving her any of the when we make it through this battle, let's get married nonsense. It's bad luck. That's my guy.
いつ火がつけられるかわかんないんだ。急いでここを出よう。
That's my dude! We haven't any idea how long we've got until they set this place ablaze. Escape is our top priority.
今は僕に任せろとは言えませんが。
In my current condition, I can hardly tell you to leave things to me, but Kobayashi continues to be the most base guy ever. See, this is why he's my favorite character. He keeps calling shit out right when I want it to happen. I love characters that point at flags. He's so good. But what? Akechi gently took my hand in his. Oh wow. He's actually holding her hand? That's lewd.
あなたの手を引くくらいのことはさせてください。
I'm surprised he's willingly grabbing her hand, given how like nervous he tends to get at just like touching her. At the very least, allow me to take your hand. Shameless.
ありがとう。
Thank you. I tightened my grip, feeling the warmth of his palm. And so we began our escape. The surface seemed far, however, and our current plight would not be so easily resolved. Countless children, their minds muddled by the fumes of the cult's drug, streamed out to block our way, one after another. I misspelled shameless, but it's whatever, man. Shameless! Had it been members of the organization standing in our way, the matter would have been a simpler one, but the children were merely victims, innocents brought there against their will. Both Akechi and Kobayashi refused to harm them, making their task all the more difficult. Oh, hi, Phoenix! Welcome! How you doing? Finally, with great trouble, we finally reached the staircase that led to the surface. But at that moment, a terrible sight greeted us. Akechi froze in horror, his gaze focused on a single figure ahead. That's Dehar, I'm assuming. Perhaps addled by the drug or in the black grip of despair, a small boy stood holding a knife to— oh no, that's even worse. A small boy stood holding a knife turned upon himself, hands shaking.
家族の連中、金はやるから、今この場で小刀で自分の腹を切ってみせろなんて言って子供を脅してたんだ。
The nobles had thrown the child a knife and made sport of pressuring him to take his own life in exchange for money. No reasonable person would blame Akechi for being incensed. Not hungover, thankfully. Oh, nice! You drinking a lot yesterday? But his master drove Akechi out of the only home he had ever known, with the words, "You are no longer my student." His fate was decided. Akechi hasn't said a word about his master since we arrived, but deep beneath the surface, I think he's still dwelling on all that happened. All the other children nearby seemed in such a trance that they paid the boy no heed. I did. I think I tried to say hi but failed. Oh, yeah, I think I saw you in the Discord after I finished streaming. Be like, hello from Junk Phoenix. Yeah, this music is intense. Yeah, this is very intense, like, point in the plot right now. Hurry, you two! Even as Kobayashi's words landed on Akechi's ears, I was already in motion. Huh. I relinquished my grasp on Akechi's hand and thrust him away with all the strength I could muster. I need to be the one in danger! I made a dash towards the boy, who seemed poised to take his own life at any moment.
Miss Whiteley!
Throwing my arms around the boy, I cradled him in my embrace. The knife clattered to the floor, released from his small, shaking hands. It's alright. Everything is going to be better now. My head swam. Perhaps they were burning an even more potent form of their drug. Perhaps they had already set the fire to destroy the evidence gathered here. Whatever it might have been, with the boy still clutched to my breast, my vision blurred and consciousness fled from me once more. The last I remembered before the world went black was someone calling my name, as from a great distance. To be continued. I BRB for a while, but wanted to say hi properly this time. Oh, well, it's nice seeing you, Phoenix. Oh, good. Whatever you're gonna do. Heck, more continues. I see. So, Lady Whiteley was taken away by that organization, along with all the missing children from the workhouses. Honestly, to be captured during her own rescue while trying to save another, she really does cause no end of trouble. You're so right, Pendleton! Speak your truth! The great fire that broke out below St. Spear Church crested in its intensity as Akechi stood at the threshold, ready to rush back in to save Emily.
Miss Whiteley!
She's talented at being in danger. That's her one talent. Super high school level danger. Not a danger for others, a danger for herself. Akechi, wait! When's the Pendleton BL game, right?
Kobayashi, hanashite kudasai.
Let him be in a nice relationship with one of his, his butler friends. Let go of me, Kobayashi. I need to save her. But I can't. I can't let you leap into that blaze. But let go and hand me Seiji. Super high school level danger magnet, for real, yeah! I won't do it! Not even for you, Akechi. No sooner had Kobayashi dragged Akechi back to the surface than the blaze began to quickly spread through the underground, enkindling even small fires on the surface, and causing an uproar. Hey yo! Is Emily dead? Let's go. Emily's not worth it. Kobayashi's right. He continues to speak the truth! Once the flames had abated, there were no bodies to be found, or traces of the ritual that had taken place. Emily dies through yippee! The residue samples taken from the site positively identify the substance burned by the cultists as a variety of the drug commonly known as crystal. In low dosages, it simply functions as a mild paralytic, with potential side effects including headaches and dehydration. In larger concentrations, however, it directly impacts the functions of the nervous system, impairing one's judgment and fear response. I don't hate Emily enough to want her dead, but it would be very funny. Its effects are different from those of elixir, which induces listlessness and hallucinations, but is no less dangerous. I'm already losing one friend today kind of vibes.
明智君、小林君、
I would expect the two of you to have been heavily exposed to the drug while you were in the underground
体
passages.
に異変はあり
Do
ません
either of you feel any abnormal symptoms? Akechi and Kobayashi indicated the negative with a weak shake of their heads.
それならよかった
I'm glad to hear it.
では
In that case,
後のこと
leave
は
the
私
rest to
に
me
任せ
and...
て
あなたにはもっと他に言いたいことがある
Wait, is Emily really dead? That would be... Oh? Did they not rescue Emily? Is there really nothing else you want to say?
明智君、勘違いをしないでください
Don't misunderstand me, Akechi.
今はあなたを責める時間すら惜しい構っている
They
暇
did
はありません
it! They didn't rescue Emily! Based? Based? Whatever time I might spend blaming you would be much better employed searching for Lady Emily. I don't have the luxury of focusing on you right now. Emily died and I missed it? Fuck, LMAO. Wow, ayo, let's go! Akechi's route. You lost some points from me earlier on, but we're getting back on track.
ペンデルトンさん、それじゃあ俺たちも。
Then let us. We didn't see a body, but it would be very funny if she did.
いえ結構です
Good ending. Emily dies. Kobayashi and Akechi start dating. I will be fine. Thank you.
ってまだ何も言ってないぞ。
Hey, I haven't even said anything yet.
あなたたちのような子供に一体何ができると言うんです思い上がらないでください
What do a couple of children like yourselves hope to accomplish here? You ought not overestimate your own ability. Alia, why are peons more expensive than Yaz? Oh. I did not think. I will reduce the price later then.
それに教会の現場には薬以外の物的証拠は何も残され
Other
てい
than the
ません
residue of the drug, no physical evidence was gleaned from the burnt out underground. Isn't Emily the main character? Too many names on otome games. Yeah, Emily's the protagonist. Lower those hands, boy. You are not using them against anything more threatening than a fly.
救貧院の子供たち
Even
の
if the
失
two of
踪
you
や
did come forth to offer testimony of what you witnessed there,
あなた
you'd
たちが
simply
主
be
張したところ
dismissed
で
as a wild
異国の
tale
子供
spun
の
by
誰
a
事
couple
と
of
受け
foreign
取られるだけで
youths.
す
このまま
So,
Damate
you're
nanimo
saying
suru
we
na to
ought
iin desu ka?
just remain silent
Anata
and
wa.
do nothing? Oh! Thank you for that sub, Jackie! Oh, neat! 46 months. Christ! Sheesh! Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Enjoy your emotes.
言ったはずですよ明智
I've
君
made my stance quite
あ
clear,
なたたちの
Akechi.
助けは結
Don't
構
make me repeat myself.
それだけ
I
で
have
す
no need of your assistance. That is all.
無力に打ち
I
ひしが
cannot
れている
depend
者
on
の
someone
力
so
など
overwhelmed and incapacitated by his own sense of powerlessness.
アリシアに行って
I have taken the
屋敷の
liberty
客間を
of
用意させて
having
います
Alicia prepare a guest room for
今
the
夜
two
は
of
もう
you.
遅い
It is late.
休んでいきな
Both
さ
of
い
you ought to get some rest. Having said thus, Pendleton excused himself, leaving the two alone in the room.
おい、
Hey,
明智
Akechi?
彼女は迷うこと
She
なく
chose to save that child without a moment's hesitation.
ですが
And yet I,
あの時僕は
I
迷い
wavered,
ました
still chained to
自
the
分の過去
past.
にとらわれて小林お前の言う通りですねミス・ホワイトリーはとても強い女性です
But you're absolutely right, Kobayashi. Miss Whiteley is a woman of enormous strength. As much as I can complain about bits about like Emily and some plot points that this route does, I do like that this route actually has an understandable escalation of feelings from Akechi towards Emily. It's not just, oh, I've had a crush on you since we were children. Like she's doing things that he is like so mentally like not in that spot to be able to do and comes to admire her. I find that as like a romantic development a lot more interesting than Watson. Yeah, their relationship feels more balanced emotional wise. Yeah. Feels like they actually grew and like gradually liked each other and became closer. I like that. Like with Emily like checking out the books, and she didn't even tell Akechi either. She just wanted to better understand him. And I like that communication of like wanting to understand someone too. Like it's a really nice, like as much as my complaints I have for some certain plot points, it's a really nice route. Akechi's voice was weak, his eyes downcast. So, you did find yourself thinking back to what happened back in Japan then.
昔のことを思い出したのか。あの時も子供が自分で自分のことを刺そうとしてたもんな。
Yeah, and since Kobayashi told Emily about that story of like what happened with Akechi, I think Emily knew that Akechi wouldn't be able to like do anything to like save him because he was like, it was like a trauma essentially. He was watching someone that was going through kind of the same trauma as Akechi, and so that's why she like went and ran for the child to stop them too. It's okay, Emily will come back as a Christ-like figure. Prayer circle that Emily comes back based. And just then, that child was ready to end it with a thrust of the knife. I thought you would.
いくら自分で納得しても振り切ったと思っても似た状況に直面した途端動けなくなる。
Yeah, Ketchy, that's because you have trauma. I thought I had come to terms with what happened, that I had moved on. And yet, the moment a similar situation presented itself, I froze.
過去に後悔なんてしてるはずはありません。それなのに僕は迷いました。
I have no regrets about the choice I made that day. Yet, this time, I found myself wavering. Damn it, Akechi. You should have parried the building. Oh well.
そんな暇があったら彼女と一緒に子供を助ければよかったのに僕は
I had time enough for hesitation. I should have been right there beside her, saving that child. Yet, what did I do? Akechi bit his lip in frustration, his gaze still fixed towards the floor. So, even you find yourself beset by frustration every now and then, huh?
だけど今そんなことしてる暇ないんじゃないか。
Still, this is no time to wallow in the pits of despair.
明智は
If you ask me,
人の言葉を
I'd say you take what people say at face value too much.
ペンデルトンさん
Pendleton may have told us he has no need of your help, of course, but he never once instructed us to do nothing.
ってないじゃん。それとも
Or are you planning on simply giving up and leaving Emily's rescue to him?
潔く引き下がるつもりなのか。
Co-based Yashi at it again.
そんなことでき
I
るわけない
couldn't
でしょ。
possibly do that.
だろ
I thought as much.
じゃあ
Well
問
then,
題ない
seems
よ
like choice is made.
人の言うこと聞いてるだ
Just
けじゃ
dutifully listening to what others tell you isn't enough to capture the heart of the maiden you love.
お前の言う通り
You may well be right.
かもしれません。
Back, I should have left before the sun went down. Pretty nippy out. I see you neglected to repin the giveaway message. Oh! Shimata. Whoops. Anyway, Emily's dead. You missed the most important part. The next morning, House Whiteley's head maid, Alicia, called for Pendleton with a look of bewilderment on her face. Rip Bozo. It was based. Like, the building was getting burned down, and, like, Akechi was like, I go to save her, and then Kobayashi's like, no, she's not worth it. And then they just fucked off and didn't save her. Co-based Yashi.
明智君と小林君が
You're saying Akechi and Kobayashi are nowhere to be found?
ええ
どこにも姿が見当たらなくて、ベッドはまるで使う前のようにきれいに整えてあったのですが。
Yes, I've looked everywhere in the mansion. The beds and rooms are so tidy, it's as though they were never there.
そうですか。
I see.
やはり
It
お
seems
と
our
なしくして
guests
いるわ
found
けがありま
themselves
せんで
unable
した
to
ね。
stay put after all.
律儀な
Their
ところが
consideration
さ
for
すが
their
ですわ
hosts is very characteristic of them, though.
だけど
I did
これ
find
がベ
this
ッ
on
ド
the
の
floor
脇に落ち
beside
て
the
いて。
bed. Figured you should hold on to it.
おやおや
Oh?
忘
They
れ物
must
で
have
すか。
forgotten to take it when they slept out.
これは
I'd wager this
小
is
林くんのものでしょう
Kobayashi's.
か。
Otome games that don't follow the point of view of the protagonist for almost all of the game confuse me. Well, I like that it switches point of views and that it's not just Emily. Usually the switching is rare. Yeah, I like that it's not focused entirely around Emily. And frankly, anywhere from Emily is up. Yeah, Emily's kind of like sitting in a burnt building right now. So I'm not sure what to do for her point of view at this point. Alicia handed what she had found to Pendleton.
アリシア、すみませんがしばらくの間、屋敷をお願いします。
Alicia, I shall be leaving the estate in your care for a time.
任せてくださいな。
Of course.
そ
In
の代わり
return, I ask that you
お嬢様
do
を頼
bring
みますよ。
Lady Emily back safe and sound. This is fine.
もちろんです。
I will. With Alicia and the other maids to see him off, Pendleton departed the mansion. Meanwhile, elsewhere in London, Akechi and Kobayashi had made their way to the shore of the river Thames.
小林、
Kobayashi,
学園寮で聞い
do you
た
recall the rumor about
テム
the
ズ川の
ghost
幽
ship on
霊
the
船の噂を
Thames?
覚えていますか。
The one we heard about back at the dormitory?
あ
The one that's supposed to ferry away the souls of children who misbehave, right? Oh, I think it's the cult!
深夜の霧がかか
Consider
った
for a
テム
moment.
ズ川と
Does the proliferation of that story not sound like the perfect
人目を
cover
避
for
けて船で
transporting
人
people
間を
by
運ぶ
sea
には
without
理
arousing
想
any
的な状
suspicion?
況だと思いませんか。特に泣き叫ぶ子供を運び出すには
Especially the cries of children.
うさんくさい噂に聞こえるけど、実際に子供たちをさらってる組織もあったもんな。
On its surface, it simply sounds like another urban legend, but if you consider that the children are entirely real, the picture begins to shift.
でもどうやって調べるんだ。
Still, how do you plan on investigating the... Kobayashi trailed off as his eyes were drawn to a slip of paper in Akechi's hands.
おい明智、お前どうしたんだその地図。
Is that a map? Where did you get it from?
教会の地下で見張りから鍵を奪った際に一緒にお借りしたんです。
The guard we took the keys from in the caverns beneath the church had it on him. I simply helped myself.
お前よくそんな余裕あったな。
Wow. I'm amazed that in the haze of the moment you thought to search his pockets. I mean, you're like drugged out, Akechi.
体が動かずとも頭で考えることはできますから。
My physical ability may have been significantly impaired, but my ability to reason remained intact. I thought the drug impacted your brain too, though.
この地図に示されている航路の始まりはこのテムズ川の上流です。
The area shown on this map, where children are loaded on ships for the journey by sea, is upstream on the river Thames. Yeah, but he has plot armor. True.
ですがちょうど港の位置、しかもこの岸が入り組んでいる部分に印がついています。
As you can see, there is a mark made over a certain port, and the detail with which the coastline has been rendered is rather noteworthy. Elio? Nani? It did impact his brain. Don't you see that he's trying to save Emily? True. Wait, what's up? What's up, Maggie? Nani? Ooh. It's not here. Wait, how do you say it? Oh, I'm a dumbass. Thames? Oh, Thames. Thames. Okay. Kobayashi scanned the map of the riverfront.
この場所ってあれだろ。俺たちが
Yeah, that's how you say it in British English. We don't do that here. Oh, I think I remember this place. Isn't that where we almost made landfall when we first arrived from Japan? It's wrong. Thames fighting Urds. Thames is the stupid fucking cat from Undertale. Read it like it looks. Rah. You literally say the word wrong. Don't worry, I will say it as Thames now. Tam. So it is. Though I learned some time later that it is largely used as something of a scrapyard to moor decommissioned ships. Late at night, with the fog hanging heavy in the air, it would be nigh impossible to account for all of the ships entering or leaving port. Prepare to be shoved in a locker, nerdlinger. But wait, what's your thoughts on Rita so far, dwarf? The perfect place and time to take on cargo in secret and leave port without anyone being the wiser. Man, Temtem sounded like a cool game. Shame the creatures are kind of boring / ugly looking. Yeah, ain't that like the Pokemon looking game? It's only been like 10 minutes. I stopped to go take a walk to the store. I found her dildo. What? So, what are you planning to do? I don't know. Huh? I do not remember this. He didn't tell Pendleton about any of this, and I think I can hazard a guess as to what that means. I was digging through her house and Yuri went, "Your stolen Blastia cord is in right here," and Estelle checks for him. The dildo drawer, and it jump cuts to her being embarrassed and swearing revenge. I talked about... Wait, really? Oh my god. I don't know what else it could be. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah? When you say it like that, it does sound like that was her dildo drawer. Yeah, it has to be a dildo. It's a British river. Why would you pronounce it a different way in Hamburgerland? I mean, have you seen Hamburgerland, people? They make it all about themselves. Locker time. She was effectively captured in my place. Can't be underwear, because she opened it expecting underwear. His voice betrayed the anguish he felt. Maybe she found her Yuri collection. Emily was captured because I let go of her hand. It was foolish of me, and I hope never to repeat such a mistake. My girlfriend found my Yuri stash? It was her mommy milker Yuri. You're right in what you said yesterday, Kobayashi. Heeding the words of others alone will not be enough to aid me in saving her. Actually, a crippling amount of BL novels would do the trick. Wow, I never thought I'd hear a real heartfelt admission from someone as stern as you. Oh wait, peep this emote I missed that I had it yesterday. Is that Trucy? Oh yeah, that is Trucy. Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. And I've ended up dragging you all into this, Kobayashi. And for that... Let's be clear. You've been dragging me into strange business for years now. Nothing new there. And seeing as I'm in the thick of all this, I ask that you let me be a part of it to the very end. He's ride or die, bro. He's such a bro. He's based. He's the perfect man. Thank you very much. I got some Capcom dog. I got some Ike. Jeez. Some very nice emotes. No clavier emotes. Wonder why. Probably because he's a stupid bitch. Stupider than Emily. Damn, that's dire. Late was the toll of the night, and a thick fog blanketed the port. Under cover of mist and darkness, Akechi and Kobayashi made their way to the port upon the riverfront, guided by the map. Nearby, several decommissioned ships bobbed at their moorings. The figures of 4 or 5 suspicious-looking men could be seen, even in the dim light. Someone needs to donate that man some brain cells, pronto. All of them seemed attentive, clearly on watch for something. Blast. Thought one of those sentries had a familiar look about him. Kobayashi scowled, still processing his face to the telescope as he scanned the docks. It's the same man who threw me into the cell back in the underground. Not a gentle fellow, that one. He was awful to Emily, too.
クリスタルを受けていなければもっとしっかり懲らしめたものを
If not for the crystal, I would have liked to give him a more thorough working over for his behavior. Akechi's fist tightened around the sheath of his katana.
あんなに警戒してるんだ。子供を運ぼうとしてるのは間違いなさそうだけど。
Well, given their number and their vigilance, it's a safe bet that they really do traffic children here.
いいか、明智。
Alright, here's the plan, Akechi. Gonna beat their ass. Akechi spoke, sliding his slingshot from his target and giving its band a firm tug.
俺が爆竹で見張りの気をそらすから。お前はその隙にあの岸辺まで行って彼女の無事を確認してきてくれよ。
I shall employ fireworks to distract them, and while their attention is diverted, you'll take advantage of that opening to make for the riverfront and see if Emily is safe.
小林ですがそれでは周囲の警戒が
But once their attention has been roused, that will make them all the more vigilant.
この霧の中だ。視界はほとんど効かないし、気配に鋭い明智なら容易に忍び込めるだろ。
Perhaps, but with the fog as thick as it is, they'll not be able to see too far. You should be able to sneak past them without trouble.
それに、明智、レディが心配でたまらないって顔してるし。
Besides, even I can tell you're worried out of your mind for her. Very well then.
言っておくけど、
But don't take too long, you hear? I can only keep these miscreants occupied for so long. Before the last word had left his mouth, Kobayashi had loosed his slingshot's pouch, sending one of his fireworks sailing towards the other side of the port. A series of loud, snapping noises echoed through the quiet night air.
なんだあの音はおい行くぞ
Who's that? Come on, let's check it out. The guards hurried off in the direction from where the sounds had come.
ほら、今のうち
Go on, here's your chance.
わかった
Understood. There the two of them parted ways, hurrying out into the fog. This fog is so heavy. Can't make a thing outside. No, she's still alive. No!
さっき
I thought I heard one of the guards shouting something, but it's all gone quiet now.
すぐに静かになったし
Many cages were lined up nearby, children held captive in each, but I heard not a thing from any of them. Not a cry of anger, nor even a quiet sob. It's her ghost. No doubt something must have been done to stop them from making any noise. Damn it.
このままじゃ
If I don't act quickly, I shall end up sharing the very predicament from which I hope to save these children.
一緒に連れて行かれてしまう
Well, I could have died of smoke inhalation. Good thing I'm a single-celled organism and I don't breathe. Filled with a growing sense of unease, I found my hands curled around the bars of my cage more tightly with each passing minute. But then, something begins to happen. Bunny Bunny, whenever I go on Twitch, I check if you're live, and when you are, I feel relieved for some reason. And then I type Bunny Bunny. Whenever I go on Twitch, I check if you're live, and when you Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that I was gonna say I'm glad that I relieve you, but that sounds like I'm making you go pee. I mean, if you need to pee, go relieve yourself, but like, I'm glad I can be a source of comfort. How about that? That's a good way of saying it, right? It's nice seeing you, Thunder Dude. She grows increasingly uncomfortable the safer she is.
お前
You! What in the world? She's allergic to safety. I heard a short scream, accented with pain and panic, then the sound of something hitting the floor.
何
Stress reliever, like one of those squishy stress balls. What's that? Is someone there? Quality source of comfort since 2023. Aw. Well, I'm glad I could be that. I tried to peer outside, but the fog obscured all but the nearest sights. Cautiousness got the better of me, however, and I released my grip on the cell's bars. But just as I did, he only started following in October 2024. Maybe Thunder came from YouTube. You don't know.
待ってください。
That is true. Wait. The face was indeed Akechi's, but his voice had an edge of panic to it that seemed very unlike him. I mean, not that it was intended to be an accusation. As I heard the footsteps approach, I felt someone reach out and grab my hand.
この手は
A warm hand. It was the very hand whose grasp I had let fall away in the caverns beneath the church. I just said 2023. That rules, honestly.
明智さん
IDK, since when you've been delivering comfort? That's a good question. I don't even know when I started delivering comfort. Akechi,
ミス・ホワイトリー、
you've been getting comfort?
無事ですか？
Miss Whiteley, are you alright? Yeah, I feel like Dwarf is... I am a sense of discomfort for Dwarf. When do I get to do that? Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Twy. I think it would take a moment. Let me stretch. Oh my god. Yeah, I've gotten this comfort from Elio. So Emily saw Akechi, and since he is altered because she is in danger, her first thought was, that's not him, lol. She's like, am I hallucinating? His face and hair, usually beautiful and clean, both showed a light dusting of dirt, and his breaths became heavy. Yeah, I imagine she's probably like drugged out of her mind right now being on this ship too. Dwarf is selling his brain cells to be here. I only began to imagine the peril he had put himself in to come so far for my sake. I felt so humbled in that moment that I could scarce bring my gaze to meet his.
私は大丈夫
Massive comfort. Aww.
怪我もしていない
Brain cells? What are those? I'm fine. Perfectly alright. No injuries to speak of. I tried to quiet the quavering in my voice as best as I could, so as not to worry him any more than I must already have done.
ごめんなさい
This hand is warm, so it has to be a good guy. Bad guys have cold hands. I'm so sorry, Akechi. All I've done is cause trouble for you. Elio is a bad man. Yeah, my hands are pretty cold. I'm so sorry.
大方想像はついていま
And
したが
also covered in
あな
ash.
たはやっぱりこういう時も
She
強が
wasn't
り
even
なんです
drugged to keep her sedated. She saw the guards hitting some opium or some shit and she said, hey, can I have some? Can I have some of that crystal, bro? I can't claim to have not anticipated this, but you really do try to put forth a stalwart front, even in such circumstances. What? I found myself finally looking up at him. What about Dylan hands? Akechi, meanwhile, gazed down at me, a bittersweet smile playing at his own lips. Yet, despite that, the light within his eyes remained soft and kind. Seeing him there, with that look upon his face, I felt at last as though all the tension that had wound tightly within my frame began to unspool, and the more it did, the more the tears threatened to come. Half rabbit, half lizard, came to Earth to find a hot rock to sleep on. You know, that sounds about right. I would like to sleep on a hot rock. You think this a stalwart front? His gentle voice and the quiet clarity of his eyes transfixed me there, unable to move. Look, she doesn't want to feel left out. I did not wish to cause him any more trouble than what was presently faced us both. And more, I did not wish him to think me as pitiful as I felt in truth Emily falls for peer pressure. News at 11. And yet, my tears would not cease. My only desire was to cling to his outstretched hand. Holy shit, is this a CG from the jackroot? That rules. Sorry, I'm googling for a picture. Oh? I'm so sorry. All I could mutter was apology upon apology, head turned downward.
もう謝らないでく
Magma
ださい
bath. You needn't apologize to me.
僕は
Chat, we need to get Elio a big rock and a heating lamp, and maybe some
あなたほ
crickets
ど
to eat.
心の優しい女性は
Yeah, get me a terrarium. I have never met a woman with courage as great as yours, or such a surfeit of kind-heartedness. Akechi spoke quietly, caressing my cheek. His touch was as the softest silk upon my face.
だからそんな顔
What
で
is this?
謝らないでください
All I've done is cause trouble.
何も間違ったことはしていないのですから
So fucking true. So fucking true, Emily. You're spitting. Give this woman a true. Does that cover the how queer all the way? Pretty much. There we go. Bunny terrarium. Please, do not beg forgiveness with so pitiable an expression. You've done nothing for which you need apologize. Actually, she should apologize for being dumb, actually, Akechi. Where's Kobayashi? It's a shame he didn't get on the ship, because he would be like, actually, you should apologize for being dumb and getting yourself into this situation, because he's based and I know he would say that.
お願いですから
Wanna meet a hot rock in your area. Got to sedimentary date. Scam. So I entreat you, please, do not blame yourself. I found myself then worried that no matter how I tried to conceal them, my tear-stained cheeks and the trembling in my voice would betray to him the fear and helplessness that struck at my heart. However, I would live in a terrarium if it had one of those heated lamps for lizards, right? Terrariums seem like they would be nice and comfy to live in.
大丈夫ですから。
Oh, to be a lizard, being fed my food and just kept nice and toasty on a rock. Yeah, it rocks. Set your doubts and apprehensions aside. It's going to be alright now. His voice, like a sunbeam, pierced the gloom that had enveloped me.
僕はあなたを安心させ
I
たい。
want to put your heart at ease.
あな
I
たに
want to regard you with
優
kindness.
しくしたい。
Yeah, it has a big rock, heated lamp, and you get fed crickets. The Elio Lizard rebrand won.
そして
And beyond even those, I wish to make you smile as well.
あなた
than
の笑った
anything.
顔が見たくて
Girl, stop focusing on the tears. Stop crying. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Ikechi gently drew me closer to him. His voice, his eyes, his hands ensconced in such reassuring warmth. My fears began slowly to fall away.
だから
In this present
せめて
time,
今はあなたが少し
if
でも
I'm
安
able
ら
to
ぎを
grant
感じ
you
てくれる
any
んだ
sense
っ
of
たら
comfort or relief, I...
僕は
Can you put on Starry Bunny Boy streams, please? His face was now mere inches from mine, the whole aspect of him having taken on an incredible compassion. Though my hair had become matted in the time since I had last seen him, he brushed it from my face without seeming to pay it any mind, planting a soft kiss on my head. Rocky Gecko boy. The iron bars of the cage still separated us himself, free while I remained a captive. Also, since you acknowledged that we are the Elimination Bunny Squad last stream, when do I get my armor and weapons? Don't worry, it's on the way, you know, it's just coming from space. So it takes some time, you know, traveling at the speed of light and stuff is pretty hard. So we don't do that kind of travel. So it takes a bit. Why did this just gave me Toma flashbacks? Holy shit. I just had like a war flashback. I just became that meme of that like soldier going. The moment I saw this CG, hold on. Cage CG. Okay, I guess it's not the same perspective, but still. The CG pose is the same. Alright. Hold on. I just want to put in the image. Yeah, please understand. I saw this CG and I instantly got war flashbacks. At least it's not the Uwu Cage of Love. Thank God Akechi's not like Toma. Dear God, they put an iron bar in her head. Or maybe that was already there. Gotta make sure Elliot isn't alone in his terrarium. Moggy, would you be willing to volunteer? You have to buy it with your salary. Don't ask what is your salary. Whenever... That's fine. I'll pay for it. But at that point, I request my armor to be colored black with cyan highlights instead of the orange. And I want a great sword as my weapon. Alright. The weapon will also be in cyan as well. Just to keep it all consistent coloring. Whenever I see a cage says cell CG or art, I think about that study of the cell scenes in Avatar with Iroh. I just get war flashbacks to Toma whenever I see cage CGs. I'm like, oh no! But our intertwined fingers and his lips pressed against my forehead made me feel as though whatever now faced us, we could overcome it. Sounds too hot, but I'd do it for me. For him. You do it for yourself, but not for me. I see.
すごく安心している。
With the catchy here, the cold uncertainty has all melted away. That's perfect. The Moonlight Greatsword is my favorite weapon of all time. He caressed me gently and kindly, as though to reassure me that the touch from which I had broken away was once again here for me. I could feel the tightness on my own throat as well, and the occasional shiver and shudder of my body. I was overwhelmed with happiness that he had thought so much of me, that he was even now trying to do his utmost for my sake. Tears streamed down my cheeks once more, but this time, they flowed not from the cold well of uncertainty, but from the font of joy. Do you guys ever think about how the plot of Amnesia is, especially with Ukyo's route, if you know Limbus Company, and you know Amnesia, it's literally exactly the same as Kanto, as Heathcliff's Kanto. Like, literally.
ミスホワイトリー
I really like this CG. I like the lighting in this CG. The colors are really nice. He peered into my eyes, and only then, taking stock of myself, did I register the embarrassment of being seen with tears spilling down my face. Yeah, I can see it. Don't know, Labco didn't have a machine of pigs. I'm talking about the Otome game. Pyong pyong. I'm gonna sleep. Good night. Oh, see you later, Chocolat. Thanks for stopping by. Sweet dreams.
明智さん、今日は顔を真っ赤にして離れないのね。
Ukyo is Heathcliff. Uda Ukyo is Earl King. Heroine from the previous mirror world is Kathy. The heroine of this current mirror world is Kathy. Literally the same. I see you're not going to flush red and step away from me today. Especially because I like to have this headcanon that protagonist, even if she's not the same Kathy from like the other worlds, she still retains like memories of her through like all of the jumping between the worlds. Even in my happiness, I found myself saying something less than endearing in spite of myself.
そうですね正直今の僕はとても見苦しい顔をしていると思います
Not today. Though I can only imagine how unsightly my face must look at the moment. A cursory examination revealed that his face did, in fact, have a reddish look about it.
でも今はそれ以上にあなたのそばにいたいと思ったんですそのどんなにハレンチだと思われても
Be that as it may, however, I want to be by your side, no matter how shameless that may make me appear.
そんなこと明智さんに思わないわ。
I don't think you're shameless at all. If anything, you're shameless. Aww. I couldn't help but smile as he grew embarrassed at the realization of his own words. As much as I make fun of Emily, I really like their relationship. So seeing them like have a moment together makes me be like, ooh. I really like this pairing.
明智さんがいてくれてとても嬉しい。
I'm so happy you're here with me.
ありがとう明智さん。
Thank you, Akechi. I wish to be honest, to tell him how I truly felt, but the stronger my feelings burned, the more I was overcome by them, rendering me unable to continue.
お礼を言いたいのは僕の方
The
です
thanks owed are my own.
僕は
I have yet to repay even half of the debt I owe you.
恩を
Debts for even things intangible, like
感謝も
the joy knowing you have brought me.
まだ全然
So happy to actually gust at a romance scene and not groan in frustration, right? It's a nice feeling to actually feel like a romantic scene, like it's actually earned, and like I feel like a swelter of emotions that is like positive. Like, oh, I'm so glad they have a chance to be together and talk about their feelings a little bit.
窮屈な思いをさせてしまいますが
I apologize for having to leave you captive, but I must ask you to wait a short while longer. I mean, I like being a hater too, but I'd be concerned if all the routes were a flop. Yeah. I love playing games and being a hater, but it is nice to like not be a constant hater and like enjoy something.
あなたを必ず
Even
助
if
け出
this
します
route does have some issues.
僕を信じてください
I will save you. That is a promise. So please, believe in me. There's still time. Akechi softly caressed my cheek, still moist with tears. He remained by my side as long as he possibly could, up to the moment we heard the sound of the guards in the far distance.
大丈夫だったか、明智。
Are you alright, Akechi?
はい小林そっちは
I am. What about you, Kobayashi?
ああ、問題ないよ。この霧のおかげで楽に動けたし。あいつら目に頼りすぎだっての。
Everything went as planned. The fog made it all the easier for me. Those fools rely on their eyes overmuch. After leaving Emily's side, Akechi had crept back to reunite with Kobayashi. Normally I'd be like, no, let her out, but it's Emily we're talking about. It's probably better to have her locked up while they go finish things, yeah. Using their brains. She'd probably like run and get held as a hostage, knowing her luck.
レディは大丈夫だった。
Was Emily safe?
ええで
For
すが
now,
早
we
く
need
助
to
け出さ
rescue
ないと
her as soon as possible.
あんまり焦るなよ。
Be too hasty
相手は
now.
海の上に
We're up against the ship. And whatever, whoever is within.
確か、明智って泳げなかっただろ。
You never did learn to swim, did you? You'd be in a real jam if some thug tosses you overboard.
僕は
I
そ
simply
んなに
lack
泳ぎ
formal
が上手くな
training.
いだけで
It's
す
not that I'd be unable
泳
to
げ
do
な
it
い
if
わけではあ
pressed.
りません
Fall!
泳いで船に乗り込んでは甲板に上がったところを見張りに見つかる可能性があります
Still, we can't exactly swim aboard. Or there's a good chance we'd be spotted by the guards the moment we hauled our waterlogged selves up onto the deck. Knowing her luck, she's gonna be held hostage regardless of if she's let out or not. True, but at least there won't be someone like holding her around their arm with like a knife to her neck, being like, don't hurt me or she gets it!
それじゃあどうする？積み荷に紛れるとか？
How do you intend to board the ship undetected then? Shall we stow away in the cargo?
積み荷といえば、
Oh, speaking of cargo, while I was giving that band of guards the slip, I passed by an area full of expensive-looking furniture. Sofas, tables, and the like. Or like, at least if something goes wrong, it's not because Emily did something stupid, yeah.
あれも子供たちと一緒に香港まで運ぶつもりみたいだけど。
Seems they're planning to transport the lot of it to Hong Kong, along with the children.
ソファーにテーブル
Sofas and tables, you say? Akechi paused a moment, the wheels in his mind spinning.
小林その場所へ案内してください
Kobayashi, take me there.
いいけど、明智、お前まさか。
Sure, but you aren't...
時間がありません急ぎましょ
We've got no time to lose. Let us make haste.
あ、待てって明智。
Oh, Akechi! Wait! A single motor-driven ship cut across the water, ferrying within it Emily and many children. The vibrations of the engine and the rhythmic churn of the waves beneath caused the vessel to occasionally pitch and sway.
やっぱり船は慣れない。早く揺れ収まってくれねえかな。
Can't really get used to boats. I hope the Rocky eases up soon. Many children, and one larger than average child. Just as the nauseous-looking guards was about to leave the hold, he let out a short cry, then collapsed, knocked unconscious by a fierce blow to the back of the head.
あいにくですが、海の上に揺れを逃げられる場所なんてありませんよ。
Unfortunately for you, there is nowhere on board any ship you can flee to escape seasickness. Standing over the man's prone body, Akechi returned his katana to his side.
ずっと狭い場所にいたから体が痛い。
Ugh, being cramped up like that for so long. I'd be at a loss to point to a place on my body that doesn't hurt.
まさか自分が人間椅子みたいな真似をするとは思わなかったな。
Huh?
これもタンね。
Granted, your plan worked. I wasn't expecting to contort myself into the shape of a chair. Was that too some form of training? Wait, what?
さすがに長椅子の中に潜む鍛錬は僕もしたことはありませんでしたよ。
I admit, none of the training I've ever taken prepared me to conceal myself within a sofa. Huh? Akechi and Kobayashi locked the guard inside the hold, then began making their way deeper into the ship's center. I feel like I'm missing a scene here. What? The corridors were filled with many guards, and progress was slow as the two plotted a careful course to avoid catching their attention.
見張りが多くてなかなか進めないな。それによく見たら俺たちが日本から乗ってきた船と違って随分豪華な船だし。
There's so many guards. Feels like we barely made any progress. Still, the ship is far more posh than the one we came to England aboard.
それはひがみですか？
Oh, is that jealousy I hear? Do you not camouflage yourself as furniture? You're playing Umineko. I'm not furniture. I'm human.
いや、ただの感想。
No, just a general observation.
それよりも早く
A personal
この船のボスを見つけ出して捕まえなきゃ。
Right now, my main priority is to find whoever's in charge of this ship and apprehend them.
このまま順調に航路に乗っかったら俺たちも香港行きだぜ。
If we simply let the ship continue on its merry way, we'll like to find ourselves in some Hong Kong harbor.
言われなくても分かっています。
Yes, I'm keenly aware of that, Kobayashi. Their careful prowling eventually led the two to the ship's upper deck, where the thick fog billowed around them. However, the cover that shielded them from watchful eyes was even now dissipating, pushed away by the sea breeze.
おい、明智。
Hey, Akechi!
これは
Is that... The first thing to catch Akechi and Kobayashi's eye was a group of children bound and tied, splayed out on the deck. Hey! Are you
お
alright?
前ら。
眠らされている
They
だけの
seem
よ
to
う
be
ですが
merely unconscious, but
どうしてこんな
what
こ
are
と
they doing up here?
そんなの簡単な話だよ。
A simple question with a simple answer.
君たちのような
They're
正義
here
感
to
のあ
serve
る
as
侵
an
入者
effective
を
lure for any bleeding
Deadly
hearts
Knife
like
捕らえるためさ。
yourselves that might think to intrude. Akechi sensed a rapid movement from behind. In an instant, he had drawn his blade and dealt a turning slash. The object split clean in twain, clattering to the deck.
これって。
That's...
ああ、せっ
Dear
かくの
me,
虎の
there
仮面
goes my favorite tiger
君
mask.
乱
It
暴なこ
wasn't
とし
very
てくれ
kind
る
of
ね。
you.
まあ、そろそろ
Still,
別な
I
思
was
考を
thinking it
凝ら
might
して
be
みよう
time
か
for
と
a
思
new
ってた
mask
から
anyway.
別にいいけど
What do you think would endear me to the
次は
children?
サンタクロースあた
Father
りにしてみる
Christmas,
かな。
perhaps? What is this guy's deal? Yeah, it's this guy. This is the guy that Emily ran into earlier, like with the fog plot. At the sight of the stranger, both Akechi and Kobayashi brought their weapons to the ready. His eyes flickered icily in the darkness of the night. He sure has a long neck. Yeah, that scarf really, like, something about that design just unnerves me. It feels very unnatural. Mr. fucking giraffe over here.
おいおい、
Come now, is there any need for such hostility? I haven't done anything to you.
名前くらい名乗ってもいいんじゃないのか
Might I not at least ask that you introduce yourself before you brandish your arms at me? A true gentleman respects his elders.
あいにくですが
I'm afraid I have no desire to make introductions with loathsome cretins like yourselves.
ふうわ
My,
初対
my.
面なのに
It's
そ
a
こまで
dreadfully
言っちゃうんだ
mean-spirited thing to say to someone you've only just met.
日本人の
I
くせに
thought you
失礼
Japanese valued politeness above all else, Samurai-kun.
日本人
So, you know who we are?
俺たちのこと知ってるのか。
まあね
But of course,
So,
the
the
heart
Tehan-kun
over there is one of my
Boku no
pawns
Tehan
after
to
all. Yeah, I have a bad habit of accidentally giving long necks if a character is wearing a huge scarf/turtleneck too. So I get it, but I'm still gonna be the pot calling the kettle black.
ポーロック様、何度も言っていますが、私は手駒ではなく、あなたの忠実な部下で。
Pawn? Master Porlock, I'm your loyal servant and...
はいはい僕自分で忠実とか言って飾り立てるやつは嫌いなんだ
Enough out of you. It grates on me when people ramble on and on about their honor or their loyalty just to make themselves look good.
僕の代わりに子供を集めてきたからってあんまり調子に乗らないでよね
Don't esteem yourself too highly for carrying out such a simple task. Any two-bit... I feel like I've seen this word before, but I'm not sure. Is this an offensive word? I'm not actually sure. How is this guy known for his masks and not known for his giraffe neck? Right? Could have rounded up these children. I've heard of that word, but I don't remember where I heard of that word. So just as a precaution, I'm not gonna say it. I don't think so. Oh, it's like a trick. Oh, okay. Hoodwink just means to trick. Okay. Yeah, listen, I wasn't sure. And this game loves having evil characters use bad words. It's calling him a charlatan or a scammer. Gotcha. He spoke with an air of disinterest, and his words were biting. Envenomed.
ついでに言うと無駄な労力をかけさせる相手も嫌いなんだよねだから二人とも
Oh,
僕
I
に
see.
嫌われたくなかったらおとなしく捕まりなよ
And while I'm dwelling on it, I also hate those who cause trouble for me. So if you two would rather not incur my wrath, I suggest you give yourselves up. Yeah, who's this evil tween? Yeah, Porlock. Is this another Sherlock villain?
お前の好き嫌いなんか知るかよ。別に好かれたいとも思わないし。
Why would we care if you hate us? We didn't come here to win your approval.
断る
And if we refuse?
一人ずつそいつらを殺す
I'll kill them, one at a time. At his words, Porlock's subordinates, arrayed behind him, leveled their rifles at Akechi and Kobayashi.
君たちが抵抗するたびに一人ずつ殺して海に放り込むあ、二人ずつにしようか君たちも二人だから
For every futile gesture of resistance you make, one of them dies. Then they shall throw the body into the sea for good measure. Or perhaps it ought to be two? There are two of you after all. You son of a...
君たちが潔く捕まらなかったせいで何の罪もない子供たちが犠牲になるわかりやすいよね
If you refuse to give yourself up, the loss of these innocent children's lives shan't be on my hands. I'll be perfectly clear. No, they are on your hands, actually. You're the one ordering the deaths. Fuck you.
あの子たちを助けるためにここまで来たんだろうその目的が目の前で消えてしまうのはちょっと悲しいんじゃないか
Just think, you came all this way, went through all this trouble to save them. Wouldn't it be simply tragic to see their little lives pour through your helpless fingers like sand?
確かにその通りです
It would
Yes.
indeed. However,
ここでおとなしく捕まるわけにはいかない。
We cannot allow ourselves to be captured here. In an instant, the two had raised their weapons to the ready and struck without a moment's hesitation.
こいつだ。
These bastards! The pellets loosed from Kobayashi's slingshot stopped Porlock's thugs in their tracks. Capitalizing on the opening, Akechi immediately narrowed the gap between himself and Porlock, aiming the trajectory of his cut squarely at Porlock's neck. However, this has "I'm not the evil one, I'm implying doing this all for the greater good" kind of evil written all over it. His blade stopped short, hovering a hair's breadth from Porlock's throat.
君、少しは周りを見る余裕があったん
Impressive.
だ。
I see that even as we conversed, you were able to scan the environs.
だけど、
If only your
聞こえなかったのかな。
ears were as sharp as your eyes. A cruel grin twisted its way across Porlock's face as he raised the pistol in his hand.
一人目、撃
I'm
ち
going
殺
to
すよ。
shoot the first one myself, you know. He pointed the gun at one of the bound children.
僕だって本当
It
はこんな
brings
こ
me
と
no
したくな
joy
い。
to do this, I assure
大事な
you.
道具を
Such a
調
waste
整
to
途中
go
で壊すなんて
discarding
もったいない
tools
し、
before you've even
弾
had the
薬だ
chance
って
to
もっ
use
たいな
them.
い。
To say nothing of the ill-spent ammunition.
それに、こう
In
見え
spite
て
of the
も
contempt with which
無
you
駄な血を
surely
見るのは
regard
好き
me,
じゃない。
I have no particular interest in spilling any more blood than is necessary.
安心しなよ。
But worry
僕は
not.
どこかの
Unlike
右
a
手と違
certain
って
other right-hand
歯
man,
向かった者にも寛容
I
だ
make
から。
it my practice to offer
能力のある
mercy
者は
even
生
to
か
those
し、
who
チャン
oppose
スだっ
me.
て与える。
Beyond the sparing of life, I'm also prepared to offer opportunities to those with requisite potential.
さあ、どうする？
So, what
僕
shall
が
it
見
be?
たところ、
You don't
君た
look
ちは
like the
子供を
cold-hearted
見殺しに
sort
でき
who
るよう
would
な
stand
白状
by
者
and
には
see
見えない
children
けど。
perish.
卑怯だな。
You're just a good-for-nothing coward, using those weaker than you as a shield while you...
わかりました。
Very well.
明智
Akechi,
その代わり、
return.
縛ら
I
れている
ask
子
you
供
take
た
the
ちを
children back
中
inside.
に戻してください。
侍くんは顔に似合わず優しいんだね。
You have more kindness
でも
about you
要求
than
す
your
るからに
appearance
は
would
もう
suggest,
ちょっと誠
Samurai
意を見せて
Kun.
くれない？
Still, if you're trying to strike a bargain with me, I'll need convincing that you mean to honor your end of the deal.
例えば、
For example,
武器を捨てる。
casting your weapon away. Don't do it!
おい明智
Akechi,
こ
no!
の刀
That katana is... Kobayashi's words died in the night air as Akechi's sword and sheath both clattered to the deck.
これで満足ですか？
Are you satisfied? Akechi's expression remained calm and unflinching, but his clenched fists could be clearly seen in the polished surface of his blade. After being relieved of their weapons, Akechi and Kobayashi were summarily thrown into a holding cell by Porlock and his subordinates. Akechi, we're really fucked up now. However,
一体どういうつもりですか？
what is the meaning of this?
そんな怖い顔しないでくれないか？せっかくの美味しいポートワインがまずくなる。
There's no need for such a scowl. How am I supposed to enjoy this glass of port with your dreadful eyes glowering at me? Not long after, Akechi had been summoned by Porlock, and now stood face to face with him.
侍くんも飲んでみる？普通のワインよりも度数高めだけど。
Fancy a drink yourself? It has a bit more punch than regular wine, but it won't leave you wanting.
結構です。
I shall abstain.
見た目通り侍くんはお堅いな。
I see you're every bit as needlessly stiff as you look. Brushing aside Akechi's rejection, Porlock quaffed the last of the wine in his glass.
言葉のままだよ。
I meant exactly what I
僕も
said
仲間にな
earlier,
ら
you
ない？
know. I'm inviting you to
君を
work
誘って
as my
いい？
associate.
僕もいろいろ忙しいんだよね。人材を集めたり、暗号でスペルバウンドの情報を伝達したり。
I'm a busy man, you see. Gathering personnel, disseminating information through the organization by ways of ciphers.
こうして海の向こうにもスペルバウンドの拠点を作らないといけないから。
And now I've been given the chance of founding a new base for Spellbound abroad.
君堅物そうだけど腕は立ちそうだし、自分の役目にはすごく責任持ってくれそうだから。
You seem rather too serious for your own good, but there's no denying your considerable ability. That you take great responsibility in your work is well and good too.
お断りします。
I'll pass.
これでも君の功績を称えているんだけどな。今まで散々僕の役に立ってきてくれたんだから。
Won't you reconsider? You've been ever so useful to me, such that I've come to think quite highly of you.
何の話ですか？
Useful? What are you talking about? Oh, was that like... He's not gonna fuck you, bro.
さっき言っただろ。デハル君は僕の手駒だって。彼を君たちへ差し向けたのは
Standards are way lower. The night air up on the deck dull your hearing? Dahar is one of my pawns. In fact, it was on my order that he first approached you. Yeah, I remember him saying that they like apprehended people for Dahar as like detectives. But then he noticed that like the people that they looked into all wound up going missing after they finished their case.
君たち能力はあるのに随分苦労してたみたいだからね。
You and your friend were struggling mightily for young men of such obvious skill, which made it all the easier for his deception to take hold. A little kindness and the birds eat right from the hand.
君たちはよく働いて
I
くれ
must
た。
commend your exemplary work
僕た
gathering
ちに代わって
information
調
on
べ
the
てくれた
traitors within our
裏切り者
organization.
の投稿。
We could not have
Yes,
nursed a
yes.
finer hunter hound. Oh! So the criminals that they went after were people that defected from their group. Shit!
まさか身辺調査の後に
The reason all the suspects we investigated disappeared soon after we filed our reports was
きれいに片付け
because
て
we
くれた。
disposed of them naturally.
幼い
When I
頃から
say
スペルバウンドで鍛えら
But
れたエリ
the
ート
killings were the work of Spellbound's elites, trained in their grisly trade from childhood.
賢い君ならわかるだろう。
You're sharp enough that I needn't spell this out. I'm
僕たちの
sure, but
共
just to
犯者
honor,
だ。
it's just to humor myself. That makes the two of you accomplices in the murders.
僕たちを
You
騙しておいて
deceived us,
騙される方が悪いん
and
だ
you
よ。
have none but yourself to
愚
blame
直に
for
人の
swallowing
心
it
なんて
whole.
信じるからさ。
Gullibility and naivete are risks those like you call ill afford. Can ill afford. Bleh. Porlock flashed him a derisive grin.
侍君、君の目にこの国はそんなに心の綺麗な場所に見えるのか？
Let me ask you this, Samurai-kun. Does this country really seem to you such a kind-hearted place?
それはおかしいよ。色眼鏡で見すぎじゃないのか？それともそんなに自分の居場所がどこかに欲しかったのかい？
I can assure you it's not. Are you sure those spectacles of yours aren't tinted a rose in hue? Or are you simply so desperate for a place to call home that you're willing to ignore the truth as it parades before your eyes?
ああ、そう。残念だけど、この国にそんな優しい場所なんてないよ。期待するだけ無駄さ。
I had figured as much. Unfortunately for you, kindness keeps no abode in this country. Dreaming it might be so is a waste of your time. Oh shit, I just noticed my camera stopped working. Let me fix that. Come on. Oh, I'm walking in. There we go. Oh, let me move myself. There you go.
あなたはこの国の人間なのに故郷を快く思っていないんですね。
For a resident citizen, you seem to hold a poor opinion of your homeland.
ああ、そうだね。滅んでしまえばいいのにって思ってるよ。
Poor is putting it lightly. I'd cheer to see it all burn to the ground, really.
君だって見ただろ、給品員の痩せ細った子供たちを。
You saw the children from the workhouses, didn't you? Like sack of bones, that lot. Are you any better, though?
弱者のための給品
I
法
don't
が
think
制
so.
定されて、福祉国家イギリスなんて言われているけど、そんなの外面だけさ。
After the poor law was introduced with the intent to help the poor and destitute, England began to be seen as a welfare state, but that impression is only skin deep.
働ける者は強制労働に駆り出され、動けない者は監獄同然の場所に収容される。それがこの国の推し進める政策さ。
The policies being pushed by this nation force those sound enough of body to work, and those who can't are thrown into what is, for all intents and purposes, a prison.
実際には強者が住みやすく、弱者がさらに生きにくくなったに過ぎないんだよ。
The unpleasant truth is that, as much as this nation loves to trumpet its high standard of living, all it has done is further enable the strong to live in comfort, while making it harder for the weak to live in all. You know, I can understand that line of thinking, and in a way, I can agree with you, Porlock, but you literally kidnap and drug children to make them soldiers and, like, traffic them across the sea to be soldiers in, like, an unfamiliar country against their will. So, like, it kind of falls on deaf ears when it's you saying this.
弱者っていうのは誰のことを指してるのかわかるよね。貧民や偉人、ちょうど君のように差別され、虐げられている者のことさ。
You understand of whom I speak when I refer to the weak, do you not? The poor, the oppressed, outsiders, those whom good society would be more comfortable without. People just like yourselves. Hypocritical motherfucker, estimate, for real. Oh, whoops. At the word weak, Akechi clenched his fists all the more tightly.
そんな狭苦しい場所に閉じ込められるよりも、もっと広くて自由な世界を見たいと思うのは当然だろ。
I think it quite natural for those hemmed in on every side of their narrow prospects to dream of a more open world, a freer world, don't you?
僕はもっと自由になりたい。生まれにも人
I
にも
yearn for that
身分
freedom.
にも縛
I
られない
yearn
場
for a
所が欲
place
し
where
い。
my future is not
組
foreordained
織に
by
いる
my
のだって
birth,
そのた
my
めさ。
social standing, or the whims of others. That is why I number myself with the members of this organization. I feel like this group might be a bit counterintuitive to some of those desires, Porlock buddy. I mean, call me a contrarian, but I think that you guys are kind of doing equally as bad things as the government is doing. So,
君だって
I
もっ
don't
と
know, man.
自分の力を評価されたいんじゃないのか。
You desire the very same, do you not? For those around you to recognize your ability?
能力の差ではなく、生まれ落ちた場所の差で低く見られてきたことはないのか。
And you're not tired of people looking at you and seeing a mere foreigner where they ought to see a man of skill and diligence?
周囲の怠け者が自分よりもいい扱いを受けて辛い思いをしてきたんじゃないのか。
Have you never seethed in anger at the witless fools around you, as the witless fools around you are lauded for accomplishments you have far outstripped? Come, come, Akechi, they are being very racist to you.
そうです。
Join my...
確かに
my
そう感じたことは
we only need to run one orphan grinder for a free England. It's easy math. You're right. I cannot deny that my experiences in England are exactly as you have described. I'm all for saying fuck the government, but no one should have let Porlock cook, for real.
それならもっと周りに自分を認められたいと思ったこともあるはずだ。
If you have craved a place to
Do.
belong, a place where you your merits will be accorded its due reward, then what's to stop you? Join up with me and put some talents as you have to better use. We're not so different, you and I. I literally do not traffic children, bro.
あなたが僕に言いたいことは
Is that all you wish to say to me? Akechi addressed Porlock flatly, looking him squarely in the eye.
確かに
Perhaps you speak truly.
僕はこの国では
By the standards of this country, I am one of the weak, the outsiders.
ですが
However, our outlook diverges in this, that I harbor no intention of trying to escape my birth, my lot in life, or the company of others, none whatsoever. Very squarely, changes the sprite to be looking away.
僕があなたに従うことなど
Your way will never be mine. Never. Porlock stared at Akechi, eyes narrowing.
へえ
Really now, do you think so little of the kindness I've shown in extending this
その
offer
行
to
為
an
をあり
East...
がたいとは思わないよ
God! To an Easterner like you. Shut the fuck up, Porlock!
人を道具としか考えていないあなたの行為など願い
I
す
have
ぎ
no
です
need of kindness from a man who views others as more than tools to be employed for his purpose, nor would I wish for it. Not so different, you and I. This doesn't hit the same as the toxic cookie, yaoi.
あのさ侍
You
君
know, it just occurred to me,
君がここ
Samurai
に乗り込ん
Kun.
できたの
You went to all the trouble to
子供
stow
たちを
aboard
助
the
けるためだったよね。
ship unbeknownst to us. To rescue those children, did you not?
本当にそれ
I
だ
keep hearing Herlock, and you telling them to shut up still makes sense. A noble goal, but is that really the extent of it? Just eat Porlock.
それが
Just eat him.
何か
Just swallow him whole. What are you getting at?
いや別に未来ある子供たちのためにそこ
Nothing
まで一
much.
生
I
懸
just
命
find
になれる
myself
気
truly moved that you would go to such
感心してるだけさ。
lengths to save all these children. Such bright futures ahead for all of them. I mean, we're making a great deal for you, Akechi. You do great with us because we don't hold any biases, which is why I am calling you Samurai-kun in italics. Definitely no, implication of any, racism or anything, you know, I don't just see you as someone from Japan. Except for the fact that I constantly call you an Easterner and a samurai. Definitely not. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. And thank you for taking a moment. Let me stretch.
もっとこ
For a
う個
moment,
人的な理由
I
で
thought
も
you
あ
might
るの
have
か
a
と思
more
ったから
personal
さ
reason driving you, you see.
次に誘った
In any
時には
case, I shall await a more
侍君からの
earnest
誠
answer
意あ
when
る返
next
答
I
を期
extend
待し
my
ている
offer, Samurai-kun.
その時は
Perhaps then you shall join me in a glass of port as well. My name is Akechi.
お断りします
I shall have to decline. Unease nodded at Akechi as he observed Porlock's foreboding smile. The conversation finished. Akechi was led back to his cell. No sooner had the iron door closed than Kobayashi hurried over.
あけち大丈夫だったかあいつ一体お前に何の用だったんだよ
Akechi, are you alright? What did he want with you? I think he wanted to make out with me. Akechi relayed to Kobayashi his conversation with Porlock.
そんな俺たちデハルやポーロックにあんな奴らに利用されてたのか
So we were just used by those two?
騙されていたとはいえ俺たちが犯罪の片棒を担いでいたなんて
We had no way of knowing, but I can't believe the sum of all our work was to aid criminals.
小林気持ちはわかりますがすでにこの船は動き出しています
Kobayashi, I understand how you must feel, but the ship is already at sea.
そんなことに気を取られている場合じゃない今はどうやって彼らを止めるかを考えなければ
Given our current situation, we cannot afford to dwell on the past. We must focus our efforts on finding a way to put a stop to what is going on right now.
そんなことってお前どういうことか分かってるのか
Dwelling on the past? Is that all you see it as? Do you have any idea what we've done? Because of the work we have done, people have died, murdered by these people, and we were never the wiser.
それくらいわかっています。
I understand that perfectly well. Do you? Because that isn't the impression I'm getting. Kobayashi grabbed Akechi, his fingers tight around his friend's shoulders. We were so caught up in the work we were given, in providing ourselves as investigators, that we completely overlooked crimes we might have prevented. We can't simply brush that aside.
小林、
Kobayashi,
ちょっと静かに
you
してくれ
still
ませ
your
んか。
tongue for a moment. Okay, we're getting into some dialogue I see here. I think we'll end here for the day, I think. I mean, yeah, that's why we gotta stop them now. I think that will be it for today. Excuse me. For London Detective Mysteria. I'm gonna go on another BRB real quick. And I will be back with some, I think next up was Devil Survivor, right? Let me just double check. Yeah, Devil Survivor. I'll be back with some Devil Survivor in a bit. Yeah, mostly good session. Yeah, there's some parts I didn't like, but I've generally been enjoying this route. Plot's been great, outside of the beginning mishap. Yeah, I agree. It's been a very well done route for the most part. Like, I like that it's not... My memory's awful. I was gonna say, didn't you play Desu 2 days ago? Yeah, I will be back momentarily. See you guys in a bit.